aromatic flavor. Whatever else. Better ASMR than Bob Ross. Yeah. Yeah, the coffee machine ASMR. New YouTube video incoming of just me standing in front of a coffee machine. ASMR vid. So, like I said, you can cut these however you want. I'm just going to give them a rough slice. There we go. There we go. Yoink. And just add those to your baking dish. Alright, there you go. Whatever. Let's give these a toss. Okay, so let's prepare our beef. Now you don't have to do exactly what I'm doing here. Yeah, please. Turn this into Bob Ross chat, would you? Alright, so I just have a pan right here on high heat with a little bit of oil on the bottom. I'm using grapeseed oil. You can use whatever you want, but that's just on the side there heating up on my stove, which you will see in just a moment. Yeah, slam that copper, Ross. Ruined. So, just going to open this up. Just a nice, I think this is an inside round roast. I'm just going to give it a rinse. It's sitting in there for a while. Water won't hurt it in any way. And I'm just going to pat it dry in a second here. Just with a paper towel. Alright. So far I just gave my roast a rinse and whatnot. And there we are. Just gonna give my hands a little rinse. Keep that emote spam up. Come on. So now what I'm gonna do here. Well, you can do one of many things. I have some rosemary here, so just fresh rosemary from my garden. If you can see it, hopefully my camera wants to focus. There we go. So I just have fresh rosemary here. If you want to, if it's hard stemmed, which some of these are hard stemmed, you can take it and you can just plunge it right into the meat, if it's possible, which sometimes you can't really do that, but just shove it right in there. Break off the piece that doesn't go in. It just adds a little more flavor to the dish. So just put her in there as much as you could put in. This is a really small roast, so it might not work that well. But also take a bit of your rosemary and just put it in any gaps in the meat, and then nice and tight like this. But you can do whatever you want. You can put a bit of the rosemary in the baking dish as well. And one more thing we can do is I'm gonna give my hands a rinse. Oh yeah. 420 rosemary, you got that right. So I just have 2 cloves of garlic here, just normal average garlic. Just gonna give that a crush. There we are. So I'm not really going all out on this roast or anything. It's just an average roast. You know, if you want to make it super flavorful, covered with rosemary, put it in every crevice and just poke holes with rosemary. Stuff it with a lot of garlic. Like I have garlic here, which I'll be putting inside. So I just have a small knife here, and I'll just make a couple incisions. So one right in the center. The beef, just enough to fit the garlic clove. So just shove it right in there. Just add a lot of flavor, and that'll seal up once I give it a sear here in a second. And I'll put another one just over here. But you can put them wherever you want. If you really want to, you can put it all over. But it doesn't matter. I'm just choosing these two spots just for whatever reason. Doesn't matter at all. Let's shove the garlic in there. There we go. So you have nice rosemary, garlic. So you have a bit of flavor in there already. Just going to give my hands another rinse. And we're going to heavily salt and pepper this. So heavy, heavy salt and pepper. Please put some salt emotes in chat. Please. Now wipe up the excess, flip it around. Gonna give my hands a rinse. And then again. Again. Heavily salt and pepper. And get in between right here too. There we go. So everything's nice, salt and peppered up. Okay, so make sure it's on there nice and good. And now I'll move it over to, like I said, we have a pan on high heat over here. So in maximum heat, we got a pan. And just wait till it's smoking hot. And then we'll move on to the next step. By the way, I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So if you're wondering, when I put it in 350 degrees, this is what I have it set at. Oops. Now we're going to do the outside. This is for the crust of the, actually we're going to take one of these out. We're going to take off the sprigs like this. Just like this. And when you have these little stems without any rosemary on them, these have a lot of flavor in there, but of course they're not good to chew up and, you know, throw in a dish because they're very chewy and very, you know, fibrous, I guess. But you can shove these in here if you want to. This beef is sort of, you know, I can't really put much in here, but I could store it on the side here like I showed you with the other rosemary and whatnot. So, shove it in there, close her up. And yeah, so we have a rosemary here. Just waiting for that pan to come to a... Here we go. Let's switch scenes here. Come on, don't lag, baby. Oh, okay, so we have our pan here. Nice and hot. We're going to wait till it starts smoking hot. Wait till it gets smoking hot. And once it gets smoking hot, then you'll see. Pros bake that at 375. I actually have it preheated to 375, but you know, it all depends how much time you have. If you want to eat ASAP and you want your beef to be a little bit tougher with a little less flavor, 375 is good. If you want to have nice tender beef that melts in your mouth, you know, 300, 325 would do good. But I'm going to do 350. If we have to bump it up and we're strapped for time, I'll just eat like a fleshy piece of beef. No, I'll just increase the temperature and then... Anyways, so 350. You can't see what I'm doing, but you can hear. Alright, so now that this is almost there, you gotta wait till right as soon as it smokes. 2 cans? Yeah, this cooking stream isn't at all where I want it to be. Eventually, once I get more income and whatnot, I'd like this to be a lot better. But this will do for now, 2 cans. And I choose to do no music because, in my opinion, you know, if you want music, what's better than being able to pick it yourself? So, I mean, as in, you guys can watch this and pick your own music from your house, as opposed to listening to my crappy music, or what some people would consider crappy. You know, everyone has a different taste in music, so I don't want to pound my music down everyone's ears. But, okay. So now that this is just about to smoke, hopefully, sometime in the near future, I'm just giving that rosemary I had in the butcher block a quick chop. Just a couple chops. There we go. And I'm just going to put it in my bowl. I know you guys can't see that, but just gave it a rough chop and put it in a bowl. So here we go. Now that this is just started to smoke, I'm going to add my beef. There we go. So we're just getting a nice sear on this. That's about it. So it's on maximum heat, and as you can see, the webcam I use for the over the stove is not high quality at all. But yeah, and by the way, if you're new here, I do cooking shows every week, Monday and Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern. So if you ever want to catch these, that's when they happen. And other than that, I just speed run every day. But let's wait till we get a nice sear, and then we'll flip it around. And just a tiny, tiny bit longer. And watch out for that jump scare, my fire alarm. That loves to go off during cooking streams. So if you guys like jump scares, you're gonna love when my smoke detector goes off. Just gonna add a little bit more oil. I'm just gonna mute the mic for now. Unless you guys want to hear the sizzle, let me know. I'll unmute it if you want to. My immersion. Okay, here we go. There we go. Immersion's back. Alright. So make sure you just sear all sides. And now we're going to get this side. There we go. So that's seared enough for me, you know. Doesn't have to be fancy. And you might be thinking, or you're probably thinking, well, if you cook yourself, you're thinking, hey, why aren't you using those juices to make a sauce or anything? I'm actually not going to make a sauce for this meal. So, but what I am going to do, I'll add a bit of this on top, whatever. There we are. So, stir that around a little. So, in this bowl here, that's it. It's cooked. You know what? Actually, where I used to work, we used to have a regular that would come in, and he would want the rarest steak possible. And I swear to God, he would ask for just a small sear, like this. Sear it like that, and it was like just eating flesh, basically. And yeah, he wanted it like that every time, just a 1 minute sear, or 30-second sear on each side. So, all right, so we're gonna mix honey. About 1 tablespoon honey. Let's hear that again. No sound effects? whatever. Ew. Thank you. So, and horseradish. So honey, horseradish, and rosemary, that's all we got here. And when you're mixing, you definitely, it won't turn out the same unless, here we go. We go like this. Ew. Mix that up. So based on the color, you'll know what's more prominent in there. As you can see, it's super white. So you can add some more honey. Give it that yellow flavor. So if you want it sweeter, make sure it's more yellowish. If you want it more tart, then make sure it's more white. So there we go. We got a rosemary, horseradish, and honey mixture all done up. Okay. And here we go. We're just going to spread it on. And just use your hands. There we go. Get it everywhere. And if you want it thicker, add a lot more honey, but this will crisp up quite nicely. So you can put some on the bottom too if you want to, but this is alright. So just get it all over the place. That's fine. My immersion. There we go. So we got our honey horseradish mixture on there. Put that in the back. Alright, so happy little that was a happy little accident. I actually thought it would be a little thicker, but yeah, happy little accident. So what the heck am I even doing? Okay. Oh yeah, yes. So I have a little trick for my oven. Well, not a trick. I just have a mildly expensive oven. Just a modern oven. So it has a thermometer I can use. So I'm going to plunge this into the center of the beef. Actually, first, let's open up our oven. Point the camera this way. So we'll pop it into our oven. We'll put this thermometer in here. And we'll put this in there. And then we'll press probe, wherever probe is. Probe. And let's say 150 for medium rare-ish. And back. Or yes, you can see that hopefully. Okay. And there we go. So, next up, we're going to get our potatoes ready. That is a very large oven. Fantastic futuristic oven. Yeah. No, not really. But it's actually not that great of an oven. But, well, it's alright. But there's way better up there. I mean, I would have rathered a propane oven, but what can you do? So, now I'm going to wash this butcher block the wrong way, which is with a wet cloth. There we go. And now we'll start on our next trick, which is our sauteed potatoes. So, just gonna put some water in this pot here. Level 3 oven. Alright, so we have our water here. Always make sure it's cold water with potatoes. They get nice and starchy. Actually, this water looks a little cloudy, so. Sorry, humans. So just filling up a small pot with some cold water. Let's see. Oh, well, thank you, Raven. And Valentine, yeah, maybe someday. I mean, I more so take cooking very chill now as opposed to competitive because I already do so many competitive things. I don't know. Maybe someday. I haven't really decided yet, but it's been on my mind a few times. I mean, usually if there's competitions, I'm just going to add some salt to this water because you always want to salt water. If you're going to cook anything in water, typically you'd want to heavily salt it, especially potatoes. Oh, yeah. All right. So, if it tastes like salt water, you did it right. But usually if there's competitions here, you have to enter with a restaurant, and I wouldn't do that. But if there's ever any solo competitions, I would enter them all the time. I entered one solo competition in my life, but unfortunately it was to submit a recipe on the internet, and I didn't win because there a ton of people did it, and I actually took the advice of my friend. Okay, I had a recipe made up, and I took the advice of my friend. I was like, I'm going to put this in there, this in there, this in there. He's like, dude, don't put that in there. It was actually my mom who was saying this stuff. And anyways, it wouldn't have made a difference, but what I learned is just to do stuff on my own after that point. But anyways, we are going to just I have multicolored baby potatoes here, so we're just going to put them all in, just as is. Yeah, Reverend Thule. Alright, so I just add the whole bag, whatever. Alright, whatever. So, I'm just going to dump a little bit of this water out. There we go. Watch me add water later. So, just going to dry the bottom of that off. Now we're going to get another pot of boiling water. Ruin. Just going to get a smaller pot from over here. So I just have a small pot here, which I'm going to fill with water. So what I'm about to do here is, as you know, for the vegetable, I'm going to be using carrots. So I have a bunch of carrots here, which usually you'd see everybody peel carrots, but there's no reason to peel carrots at all, in my opinion. Yeah, if they look a little scrudgy or whatever, scrudgy's not a word, but it is now. Yeah, you know, things like this, you know. You can shave it off or whatever, or just cut it off. I'll just be cutting them off, and then just give it a nice wash. Yes, I'm aware of pesticides and whatnot, and but as long as you give them a good scrub, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. But yeah, so if there's any dirty parts, just cut it off. Whatever. I'm just gonna cut off the bottoms and the tops, just because they're usually pretty scuzzy. Oops. Happy accident. Do I have a... Wait. Where's the bot? Now I'm all confused. I don't see a bot anywhere. But I did do that last night, but I don't see him saying anything. Anyways, happy accident, whatever. So cut all the tops off. Boom. You know why that's a happy accident? Because my dog will come upstairs later and he'll eat that carrot. I didn't wash them yet, no, but now I'm about to wash them. So I'm just going to give them all a wash and a scrub. I'm going to give them a good scrubbing over here. So one of the things I hate cutting most is carrots. There's many ways you can cut everything in the world, but I'll take this slow for you guys just because I know when you're starting out cooking, carrots are very, flipping all over the place, dipping all over the place. So keep them relatively the same size. I know that's really almost impossible, but this I'm just going to keep aside. So I'll just have nice, like, this size is good. So whatever. Something like that. It doesn't need to be equal. I mean, you're cooking at home. I'm assuming you're not going to take this to a restaurant and bust this recipe out, but you're cooking at home, so it doesn't really matter. You know, if you cut one bigger than the other, who cares? The only person that would make a big deal out of it is yourself, which I don't care at all. So just keep them relatively the same size. Like I said, it doesn't really matter. If you're in a 5-star restaurant, yeah, you're going to want them all the exact same size, but we're not in a 5-star restaurant right now. So it's alright to do it however you want. So I'm not going to cut that one in half. I'm just going to do this because it's very small. So there we are. How come they have to be in the same size in a 5-star restaurant? Well, they don't really have to be, but... I mean, I've worked at award-winning restaurants before. Multiple. And... yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I should have put this on the stove already, but I was busy derping around. Anyways, I'm just gonna add a little bit of salt to this, just a little bit. We're gonna bring this to the boil. So, while that's waiting, we will prepare the rest of our carrot ingredients. So we'll put that right there, and I'm gonna eat. The reason... Yeah, McDonald's wins some awards, that's right. The reason you want them all similar shape and size is so they cook exactly even. If they're all different sizes, they won't cook evenly. So you'll bite into a carrot, one carrot, it'll be super soft and squishy. And you'll bite into another carrot, and it'll be all like... Yeah, so... I'm just going to put some water on these so they stay nice and hydrated. That's my reasoning. There you go. They look nice and shiny. So, uh-oh. My cat's going wild. So, here we have, oh my god, I'm going to get this mixed up. Okay, the reason I'm going to get this mixed up is because I've been picking, like I've never used this in a restaurant in my life. No one ever orders it. I believe it's sage. I'm almost positive it's sage, but it could be lavender. I'm almost positive it's sage, but I always get them confused just because I never use them in a restaurant. But I just pulled this from my garden. Almost positive it's sage. Anyways, this is sage. We're just going to pretend it is. Just kidding. It is sage. But we're just going to take it like this. Just going to put it all on top of each other like this. So take your sage, do this, as you see, like a notepad, like the sticky, yellow sticky notes. So take this, and then I'm just going to roll it up like this. Smoosh it all together. We're going to take our knife. There we go. Then we have nice little sage sprigs. Yeah. Nice and fluffy stuffy there. Fluffy stuffy. Roll the dank. Just like a dank cigarette. What else are we going to use with this? I don't know. But I'll figure out. Oh yeah, no, I do know. No, I already told you guys what we're going to use. I forgot. Yeah. So, next we're going to put in some maple syrup. That was a lot. But you know what? Like you guys keep saying, happy accident right there. Who cares if I put in more maple syrup than I wanted to? That just means I'll put in more lime juice and more, anyways. So you could, this has like a lot of dots on it, as you can see, like little warts almost. So I'm not going to, well, actually I could do a little, let's see what's that. I'm going to zest this lime, which if you haven't zested anything before, that's all it is. You take away the green. You can do this with lemons as well, but just get the green off, no white. So just capture that green. That dank. I'm not getting much, but it's alright. So let's get some of the lime zest. Whatever, it's alright. So some lime zest, some maple syrup, and now we're just going to get some lime juice. So, what I could have done is, well, I still can roll it like this. Yeah, not advised after you've already cut it. But anyways, if you roll it, it becomes a little smoother or a little more firm. But anyways. So we're just going to juice this lime here. Oh yeah. So the juice of one lime should do. It's probably overdoing it actually. Uh-oh. Oh my god. 17-year-old cat Jill Valentine on the loose. Oh my. Alright. Crazy cat. Okay, so the chirps, yeah, girls. So now that our potatoes have been boiling for like, we're gonna wait a sec. But we're going to want to get a bowl ready for the potatoes. So we're only parboiling these potatoes. Which you'll see. So move that over there. Move that all close together. And one last ingredient, by the way. So that's our seasoning for the end. So we'll add that together, the sage, the lime zest, and chili flakes. These are red pepper flakes or red chili flakes, whatever you want to use. Either are fine. So red pepper flakes. Just going to add like a teaspoon. I added more than a teaspoon, but whatever. So this is for our potatoes. We are doing parboiled and then sauteed potatoes. So as you'll see, potatoes, yes. Well, just a moment while this boils. So I don't want to pull it up early, but one sec here. All right. What in the... Yeah, racing sites. I can't get those here, unfortunately, but it's it would be nice. So, now that these have been boiling for quite a bit, I'm just going to turn them off. I'm going to drain them. Wherever my stuff is. Now this is best to do with ice cold water, but I'm just going to add the potatoes to this bowl, and we are just going to add cold water over and over and over, just to stop the cooking process. So we're just going to keep hitting it with cold water. So we're just going to let these sit for just a moment, just so they don't overcook. Or, you know, I mean, I want to do everything at the same time. But 1 second here. I just realized something. This is going to take me a second. Got to go on my interwebs. No, I'm not looking up cooking tips or any of that shit. I just think I put I was playing the wrong video game. Maybe. My laptop has such trouble doing more than one, or like if I'm streaming, it takes so long to do anything else ever. La-di-da. Oh, it does say I'm playing the right thing. Does it? Alright, whatever. How to boil water. Yeah. Is my ass okay? Alright. So now, we're going to do the same thing with the carrots. So I have the boiling water over there. Just going to add the carrots to the boiling water. And now, I'm going to have a bowl of cold water. Alright. So we're just going to let our carrots boil for just, like, not even a minute. This is just called blanching. You cook the outside very quickly and then you shock it in cold water to stop the cooking process. Oh, Zulitha. The Bob Ross of cooking. No. Alright, so wait. Alright, so the carrots have been cooking enough. So turn that off. Into the cold water they go. And now alright. There's our carrots done, our potatoes done. So now, I'm going to actually turn the roast beef up to 375 because it's taken long as heck apparently. Alright. So, now we're going to take our potatoes and cut them in half. So these are parboiled potatoes. They're not fully cooked, but they're almost fully cooked. So we're just going to take them all, cut them in half. So the method of cooking these potatoes like this, it's almost like they'll be mini French fries, except much more flavorful and just a lot tastier than like a French fry. And where I live in Prince Edward Island, Canada, and we're known for, Americans always throw the Idaho thing out, but Prince Edward Island is only known for having like the best potatoes in the world or very close to it. So these are always a nice dish if you're cooking where I live. Your starch will almost always be potatoes. You know, I do cook rice as well. I love rice and I love like every food, but one big thing is potatoes here are huge. So I'm just going to cut, I'm not going to cut all of them right now, but see we have these here. Now we're going to grab a huge My pans are pretty bad, by the way, but hopefully this will do the trick. So we're just going to put this over on the stove, as you're about to see. I'll switch over the view. Come on, don't lag. There we go. So we're going to put that on max heat, and I'm just going to put, well, max heat for now. I'm going to lower it in a second here. Alright, Viking, take it easy. Alright, so just gonna take some butter, add it to here. If it has any like crumbs from toast or anything in there, that'll burn, so watch out. And I'm pretty sure mine does, but whatever. I don't really care. When you're cooking at home, don't be so precise. You really shouldn't beat yourself up over anything when you're cooking at home. No matter what. Like, I take this very chill, and yeah, I don't care. If it screws up, so be it. I'm yet to actually do, I have a lot of really good recipes, and I'm yet to do one single one on, actually I've done one on stream, and that was the, what was it, spinach feta and white, or spinach feta, damn. The spinach feta and wild rice risotto. Oh yeah, mushroom spinach feta and wild rice risotto. That was the only thing I've cooked on stream that I actually have cooked before and was like, this is an amazing recipe. But everything else, I just pull ingredients into my fridge and I try to do whatever. And it always works, you know, because I have the training and whatnot. So, well, it doesn't always work. I mean, sometimes I take risks. You know, I'm like, okay, let's pray this works. It might not. So anyways, what's going in with this, I have thyme sprigs here, as you see. I have thyme right here. So, we're going to throw in our potatoes. So, face down. Do it as quick as you can. If you need to add more butter, you can do so later. I'm actually going to add a little bit of oil to this too, just so it doesn't burn. Shake it around a little. So I'm going to have to do these in 2 batches. Which is alright. So don't overcrowd the pan. Like this is probably, that's pushing it. But it doesn't matter because like I said, we're at home. Doesn't really matter too much. So let those fry up. Throw some salt and pepper on there. And the salt. And you know what? One better thing to do, I'm just doing this to show you can do anything. But usually I would, if I was doing this dish, if I was doing sauteed potatoes, I'd usually season them afterwards. You can do both. You can season them before and after. If you don't want to season, you don't have to. But I mean, it'll turn out better if you season. So now we'll just let this sit for a tiny bit. And our carrots are still sitting, waiting to go and whatnot. So we'll add a couple thyme sprigs for some flavor here. So just throw thyme sprigs around. You know, do whatever you want. This is very rustic style cooking here. So just throw your thyme in there. Dish out a few sprigs here and there. Thyme's a very hard herb. It won't burn very easily. So just toss it around, shake it up. As long as you get the bottom nice and seared, it'll turn out alright. just going to cut the rest of the potatoes that I didn't cut before, just in half. Since, like I said, we're going to do 2 batches of these potatoes, so if you didn't see it this time, you'll see it the second time around. So, and now the bowl that I had the potatoes in, I'm just going to wash, rinse out really quick, dry it out, add some paper towel. I'll show you. But I'm just drying out an old bowl and adding paper towel. So just get a bowl of paper towel ready, because the potatoes are going to be very greasy. So you'll want to put them in a bowl of paper towel just to absorb all the grease. Unless, you know, if you're used to eating that at McDonald's and whatnot, bring on the grease. So now, as you can see, the bottoms are nice and crispy. Turn out really well. All of them are nice and good. So if you want to give these a toss, you can fit, they're done now, but if you want to toss them, go for it. Toss them around. Get all that heat nice and distributed. Give them another round of salt and pepper if you want to. Throw in another spoon of butter if you want to, which, sure. Now that you told me to, I guess I'll do it. So, if you want to, throw in some more butter, toss around. Let the grease flow within you. So we get some nice flavor on there. It's nice and it's got that. This is what you want. I'll show. I'll let you hear. If you can hear, one second. You want to hear a nice crackle when you take your knife or fork over the. And yeah. We've achieved that goal. So anyways, these are all done. I'm just going to try one just in case. Just in case it's not fully cooked or whatever, but, you know, judging by the look. Yeah, these are cooked. And remember, when you take anything off heat, once you put it somewhere else, it'll still have that heat captured within there. So, you know, even though I'm taking this off the heat, it'll still continue to cook. And now I'm just going to finish this off. I know I've been adding so much oils, but like I said, I have a lot of paper towel ready. Just going to finish this off with some olive oil. Just a little bit. And if you want to add crushed garlic or anything right now, then it's the perfect time. Throw some crushed garlic in if you really want to. But I'm just going to empty this into my mixing bowl with the paper towel. There we go. Now we're going to give this, I'm just going to wipe out this pan here. So we'll switch back to the other so you guys can see what's going on. What's up, Liz Chick? Magic hands. Sub pop, oh, vanilla gorilla. Throwing some THC, yeah. Just gonna give this pan a wipe out. Just gonna give it a wipe. Can't you hear? Yeah, listen to me wiping it out. Alright, so I'm just gonna wipe it around. Now I'm gonna rinse it out. And I'm going to dry it off, and we're going to do that whole thing again. Alright. Okay. So, back on the heat. Back with the butter. And you know what? If it turns out that you pull them all off and you thought they were done, and you taste them and they're not done, like they're still hard in the middle, or on the outside, or wherever, you can just put them in the oven and roast them in there, and it'll turn out the same. So, you know, if you're like, I screwed up, I have to throw this out, you don't have to ever throw it out. You know, just, those are good. Damn. Those turned out well. And like I said, if you want to add, crushed garlic right at the end, go for it. I could have if I wanted to, but I just chose not to. So let's switch back. We're going to be doing this again. So we have our potatoes again. And here we go. I'm actually going to take this off the heat because it's getting too hot too fast. So when you're doing this, make sure to move as quick as possible because you want everything to have the same sear on the bottom. If this was if I was doing this professionally, I'd flip each one individually and, you know, baste it with the butter and whatnot, but this is just at-home cooking, so no need to get super precise about anything. There we go. And we'll add we have a bit more thyme left over, we can throw that in there, just around. Just add some more flavor, whatnot. If you have any rosemary sitting around still, you can throw that in there. Just add some nice flavor. And after these potatoes are done, they've cooled down a little, then we can add the, do I use herb butter to cook the potatoes? Well, oof-oo. One of the best things to do with an herb butter is after these are done cooking, then toss it with the herb butter. So, you know, finish cooking and then toss it with your herb butter. If you have a hard herb butter, like rosemary butter, that'd be good. But if you have parsley butter or something along those lines, like a soft herb, it could burn in the pan depending on how you cook it. But herb butter is really good for tossing afterwards, or like after finishing a steak, putting it on top, or, you know, he's gonna burn some herb later. Oh man. Oh yeah, someone asked where I'll be playing after this. I'll be doing Resident Evil, or I'll be doing a speedrun marathon after this. So, you know, once I finish up this stream, I'll do the dishes and whatnot, and then I'll be back with a speedrun marathon of Resident Evil 1 and 2, Dino Crisis, and maybe Silent Hill. So I have butter in there as well as nice, as well as some grapeseed oil to prevent from burning, even though it is getting a little brown, but it'll be all right. So now let's check it out. Let's see how we're doing. So we've got a nice crispy bottom now. We'll just wait a couple more seconds and then yeah. So now let's give these a toss. Just be careful because there's a lot of oil in the pan at this point. And you don't want any, if any get on here, it would just light up as a big flame. So Just be careful, you know, take your time. Throw it on. Now we'll give it some salt and pepper. Like I said, you can add crushed garlic if you want, but I'm not going to add any crushed garlic for whatever reason. So just toss around a little, you know, make sure they're finished, whatever you want to do. So these are almost done to my liking. I like when it has a crispy inner side. But yeah, for those of you who are new here, I do cooking shows, well, starting today, every Monday and Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to catch them, I'll be here every Monday and Friday. Now I usually do something, well, I've always done something different. I'll never cook something the exact same way. Like if I ever did another roast beef dinner, I wouldn't do this exact one. So there we go. There's our finished potatoes. And now we can start on our... So here's what I was talking about, the bowl with the paper towel. So just so all that stuff gets absorbed. And then right before I serve these, I'll toss them again once with a little bit of salt and pepper, just to make sure we got some on there. But anyway, so now we'll start with our carrots. I'm just going to give these a drain. And I'm just going to put them on paper towel just to dry them out a little bit. Because water mixed with oil means explosion, and yeah, you could just not dry them off and fry them in oil, but it'd be very, very chaotic. But yeah, you do whatever you want. You know, it's your house. You don't have to do anything special. And just like I'm not really doing anything special here, it was heating things up in a pan with some salt and pepper and other things sometimes. Anyone can do what I've done today easily. In other words, usually I try to cook things that everyone will be able to do at home. And this isn't too hard, you know. Roast beef in the oven, potatoes. And if you're not comfortable with sautéed potatoes, you could just boil the potatoes. And, you know, you don't always have to do exactly what I do. And you could just boil the carrots too. It would make just as good of a meal. But I'm just doing some extra stuff just to waste. The only reason I'm doing the carrots like I'm doing them and the potatoes like I'm doing them is so that by the time I'm finished, then the beef will be done, which the beef is like done in like a couple seconds here. So I need to hurry it up. But once you take the beef out, it's got to rest for at least 5 minutes. So while that 5 minutes is going on, we'll be cooking our carrots. So it'll turn out perfect, hopefully. Unless my thermometer is lying to me, then... which I usually never like to trust a thermometer on a stove, but mine has never really failed me yet for beef. But that doesn't mean it could be well done or whatever, but judging by the time, I think we'll be okay. So, pan back on the stove. Pan back on the stove. I'm going to use a little bit of grapeseed oil. And again, a little bit of butter. So a little bit of grapeseed. And a little bit of butter as well. But someone asked earlier, how often do I cook? I don't cook super often anymore. But I've worked at multi-award-winning restaurants, and I've done my own catering for just answering the most frequent questions about my experience. But I've done catering by myself for up to 90 people. And I've done catering for many others with a group of other chefs, and I've catered around probably 20, 25 times. I think 6 or 7 of which was completely by myself for up to 90 people. but usually around like 30 to 40. So our beef is all done. So I'm just going to take that out and let it rest. Alright. I got a froggy in my throat. So I'm just going to... I'll switch it up so you guys can see. So, anyways. Alright, so... There's our roast beef. So I'm just going to switch up the cam, let that roast beef sit. Let's pray that the probe didn't fail us. Alright. Okay. So I'm just taking the roast beef that was in the pan there. I'm just going to put it on a plate and let it sit by itself, just to let it rest. So with our carrots, just going to add them in the pan. So let's pray that this beef is rare. I hate using. Oh, totally. I wish I could. I wish I had propane stoves, but unfortunately I'm not high class in terms of money, which the world revolves around money. So yeah, I can't have a propane stove, unfortunately. But I'd love a propane stove, obviously. But yeah, I just don't have the money. But, so. Oh, pizza for sure. But it depends on the price, I guess. So, our carrots, roasting up, we're frying them up. All right. Mm-mm. So yeah, the reason they're not cooking up really fast right now is because I had the stove off by accident. But they're getting there. So wait till it gets a little bit of color on it, and then we will. All right. Alright, so we're almost ready to add everything. I'm just going to add everything all at the same time, for the most part. There we go. So we're going to add our maple syrup, a little bit of our lime juice. We're just going to let that reduce a little bit. Smells really good. So let that lime juice and that maple syrup reduce a little. I'm just going to add it all just so it's all in there. Now don't let it reduce too much because it'll just burn to the pan. So move it around, make sure it's reducing nice and fast. So it's nice and reduced now. We're going to add all our seasonings. So parsley, sage, red chili flakes, and lemon or lime zest. Gonna shake this around. Now we're going to add our salt and pepper, just a little bit. Just a little. Toss it all around. And we have our carrots. So there we go. And while that was doing all this stuff, I finished cutting the meat. So, yeah. So, and here's our finished product, if I can ever change the scene. One sec here. And here we go. And so there's our beef. Yeah, anyways, there's our beef, there's our potatoes, there's our carrots, and now we'll serve it up. My cat is crying to go out somewhere. So you can plate this however you want. I say that every time. I'm just going to do really basic plating. Usually I go too fancy and I look at it and I'm like, why do you do that? I'm just going to do basic plating. Let's get our bit of our potatoes. Let's have a bit of our crusty thyme sprig. Just so it's there. If we have another one. Oh, perfect. Are nice and like fried thyme sprigs. This is gonna look like garbage. All right, I gotta do this differently. Usually I go really heavy on the garnish, but one sec. Maybe I still will. I can't help myself. I can't just do basic plating. I have to just do something. Harry. Alright, let's go. Alright, 1 sec. Okay, I have to go to my garden. 1 sec. I have to get some garnish or I'm gonna hate myself. So 1 sec. I'm just gonna grab some garnish from my herb garden and then we'll be good to go. So 1 sec. Okay. And actually, you know what? I sort of changed my mind. Okay. Wait. I'm going to make one last thing, but this is just really quick. This just take 2 seconds. Yeah, so I'm going to make just a quick, this is just for the beef. So this is just horseradish. Goes really well with beef. So we got horseradish. Okay. So just like our, and we got honey here, just like we did with the beef already. So we got horseradish and honey, just like we put on the beef earlier. Yeah, 2 seconds has passed. Yeah. Sorry. So we're gonna mix that up. All right, horseradish, honey, and a little red wine vinegar, and some grapeseed oil. So what I did here is just made a quick that's really good. So I just made a quick, just a honey and horseradish vinaigrette. Yeah, saved. Yeah. Oh, there's my plate. So I just had to go get a honey horseradish vinaigrette, or not go get. I went and got the herbs and everything, but yeah, I realized I didn't have everything I wanted. So now the plate up. Our nice sauteed potatoes. Let's get a few nice pieces of beef on here. Sort of on an angle, and then we'll use 2 smaller pieces. Put these over there. So just I'm going to try and fan them out over this. Push our potatoes over a little. So this is going to be all about the garnish, basically. Now we're going to use our carrots. Yeah, this will last a couple days though, Liz Chick. And I only do cooking shows every Monday and Friday, so. So just a really basic plating. Carrots in there. Now I'll put some garnish on just to make everything stand out. Put some fennel in the middle. Looks pretty good like that actually. Put the fennel in the middle. Put a flour right on top of the fennel, and then we'll do our vinaigrette right on top of the beef. Just drizzle that on the beef. Doesn't have to look fancy. And so here we go. Nom, nom, nom. There we go. Our roasted potatoes with thyme, salt, pepper, and butter, and a little bit of olive oil. Our carrots with sage, maple, and lime, and our honey and horseradish roast beef with a little bit of fennel and Johnny Jump Up for garnish. So there it is. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode. I will be back on Twitch tonight, just doing a speedrun marathon. So, yeah, thank you for watching. And like I said, this isn't restaurant style meal. You know, it could be if you want. It depends on the restaurant, but by no means did I go all out with this. This is just a simple meal with simple ingredients that are easy to come by. So, it's very simple. Everyone can do it here. You've seen how easy it was. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I will see you next episode on Friday, which hopefully everyone's around for. And I might do an episode before then. We'll see what happens. But anyways, hopefully everyone learned something, and hopefully you guys had fun. Thanks for watching again, and I will see everyone later. Oh yeah.